Hello students, I Dr. Sneha Sagar welcome you all in this e-lecture series initiated by Lok Jagruti Kendra. I'm working as an associate professor LG Institute of Pharmacy in Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry. Today I'll be taking your medicinal chemistry subject in which I'm going to discuss about non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs better known as NSAIDs. So, what is NSAIDs? As I've said, it is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Means it does not contain steroidal ring nucleus in its structure, and also because of the lacking of steroidal ring nucleus, several side effects related to steroidal nucleus are diminished in non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Basically, the CNS side effects like withdrawal symptoms cannot be occur by using this non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So here, this image indicates the pathophysiology of inflammation. We can say that arachidonic acid is the main precursor for the formation of different types of inflammatory cytokines by two enzymes, cyclooxygenase and lipoxygenase. They can produce different types of inflammatory cytokines. So COX-1 and COX-2, they are responsible for the formation of prostaglandins E2, prostaglandins I2. Whereas via LOX pathway, arachidonic acid gets converted into different types of leukotrienes. So this all are responsible for the inflammation, fever and many other inflammatory diseases. So what these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs do? They can be used in case of inflammation, yes. They can be used in case of mild to moderate pain, means as a painkiller. They can be used in the treatment of gout, in the treatment of arthritis and also in the treatment of dysmenorrhea. There are several side effects associated with non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Basically, the side effects are related to gastrointestinal tract. They can cause ulcers in stomach as well as in intestines. Other side effects like they basically involved in case of renal dysfunction. Also, some cases allergic reactions can be occur by using this type of uh, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Now I would like to share you one experiment which I have done during my research work. In that, what we have done, we have taken some number of rats and we have given them aspirin, which is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug which we are widely using. Okay, so we have given them aspirin 7.5 mg per kg for 7 days, and after 7 days all the animals died just because of side effects of aspirin, and that side effect is nothing but formation of ulcers. So this image indicates that A shows that animals are normal, we have not given any treatment or we have not given aspirin. This B indicates the rat stomach which is treated with aspirin for 7 days, and see the coloration, red coloration. So this stomach is ulcerated after using NSAIDs. And images C, D, E and F, they are the images of the drugs like pantoprazole given in the different concentration. So pantoprazole is proton pump inhibitor, as you know. So in order to diminish the ulceration, in order to diminish the acidity, we have given pantoprazole treatment, and after a treatment of pantoprazole, rat stomachs, they have a little less ulceration, which was caused because of the aspirin. Further, I'll show you this image. It is showing the rat intestine after the treatment with NSAIDs. In this case also, C, image number C. So in this image, rat intestine is highly ulcerated by presence of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and that is aspirin. So why I'm sharing this experiment? It is because one should not ignore the side effects of frequently taking painkillers. This is the major side effect caused by NSAIDs which we are frequently taking during our routine. Okay, so next we have the classification of NSAIDs. There are several classes based on their chemical structures. So based on the chemical structures, they are divided into several classes like salicylic acid derivatives, para-aminophenol derivatives. We will discuss each class in detail. So first class is salicylic acid derivatives, the simplest classification of NSAID, aspirin and sodium salicylate. You know the structure of sodium salicylate, right? So it is acetyl derivative of sodium salicylate. Our next class is class 2, para-aminophenol derivatives. We have two examples, paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen, and another example is phenacetin. So they are para-aminophenol derivatives. You know the structure of para-aminophenol, benzene ring. In para position we have phenol and amino group, and these are the derivatives of para-aminophenol. Means paracetamol contains amide ring structure or amide side chain in its structure, and phenacetin is another derivative of para-aminophenol, and they inhibit COX enzyme, and they are widely useful as antipyretic or painkiller. Next we have class 3, pyrazolidine-dione derivatives, phenylbutazone and phenazone. These two drugs are not widely used in humans, but they have the pyrazolidine dione type of ring molecule in its structure. Next we have class 4, antranilic acid derivatives. So antranilic acid derivatives are 2, mefenamic acid and meclofenamide. These drugs are widely used for treatment of dysmenorrhea, and antranilic acid means, you know the structure of antranilic acid, benzene ring, COOH group and NH2 group, ortho position, right? And its derivative is mefenamic acid as well as meclofenamide. They are the non-selective COX inhibitors. Next we have class 5, aryl alkanoic acid derivatives. In that we have subclassification, indole acetic acid derivatives. The drug is indomethacin, means it indicates it has indole ring plus acetic acid structure in its ring system, right? So in case of indomethacin, we have indole ring, we have CH2COOH, acetic acid group and some other substitutions. This is also non-selective COX inhibitors, and it is also widely used in case of arthritis. Next we have subclass B, indene acetic acid derivative. In case of indene acetic acid, we have one drug Sulindac, means we have indene ring, we have acetic acid and some other substitutions. So it inhibits COX and it is widely used for the treatment of joint pain. Then further we have another class, pyrrole acetic acid derivatives. In that we have tolmetin. It contains pyrrole ring plus acetic acid group and some other structures, and they can inhibit the plasma prostaglandin E level, or we can say that reduces the plasma prostaglandin E level, and that they are also widely used in as analgesics, antipyretic and anti-inflammatory agents. Also pyrrole acetic acid derivative is Zomepirac. Zomepirac inhibits prostaglandin synthase inhibition, means they can reduce the level of prostaglandins in the body, and Zomepirac also contains pyrrole plus acetic acid and some other substitutions. Further we have class D, that is phenyl acetic or phenyl propionic acid derivatives. Two different ring structures, phenyl acetic acid derivative as well well as phenyl propionic acid derivatives, we have ibuprofen. Divide the name into two. Ibuprofen means isobutyl group, ibu plus profane means propionic acid. It means it is having isobutyl group as well as propanoic acid attached to the phenyl ring. So it is also non-selective COX inhibitor, and ibuprofen is widely used as analgesics and antipyretic. Further, we have class D, uh, phenylacetic acid or propionic acid. In that we have diclofenac, most widely used, also known as Voveran. So diclofenac is phenylacetic acid derivative. Diclo means dichloro group is attached to phenylacetic acid derivatives. Remember in that way. That also inhibit COX enzyme, and obviously it is widely used as analgesics and antipyretic. Further we have naproxen. Again, divide the name into two. Naproxen. Na indicates naphthalene ring. Proxane means propionic acid derivative. So we have naphthalene ring and we have propionic acid and some other substitution that gives the structure of naproxen. It inhibits COX and used as an analgesic. Further we have ketorolac. In case of ketorolac, it is cyclized. This acetic acid derivative is cyclized in case of ketorolac, and it is also non-selective COX inhibitor. Further we have oxycames. In oxycames we have piroxicam. It is having benzothiazine ring scaffold. It is also non-selective COX inhibitor and used in the treatment of fever and inflammation. Further, in class 7, we have selective COX-2 inhibitors like celecoxib, rofecoxib and valdecoxib. So why they are selective COX-2 inhibitors? Because they cannot inhibit COX-1 enzyme. Like some other non-selective drugs inhibit COX-1 as well as COX-2, but this selective COX-2 inhibitors can only inhibit COX-2 enzyme. Means selective COX-2 inhibitors cannot lead to the formation of side effects which are associated with COX-1 inhibition. Remember that COX-1 inhibition is responsible for gastrointestinal side effects, which I have shown in my previous slide. So selective COX-2 inhibitors cannot produce any gastrointestinal side effects. So we can say these are the safe drug. Next level non-steroidal drugs are this COX-2 inhibitors like celecoxib, rofecoxib as well as valdecoxib, and they are widely useful. Next, some miscellaneous class of drug, that is nimesulide and analgesic. They also inhibit COX-2 enzyme and they are widely useful. Further, this class is drugs used in gout. We have allopurinol, we have probenecid, we have sulfenpyrazole. They decreases the uric acid formation and they can inhibit the purine synthesis. So these are widely used in the treatment of gout as well as in the treatment of kidney stones. So these are some of the references I have taken. You can refer this bibliography, you can refer these books for further information. So this is about today's session. Please do subscribe our YouTube channel Pharma Ignite. I hope to see you soon in my next session. Till then, have a good day. Thank you.